Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to the History Shelf. My name is Peg. So glad you could join me today. It's been a while since my last video. Thanks for waiting for me. We have new arrivals here at the History Shelf. Yay! We have a lot of new arrivals. But these have come in over. These kind of slipped under my monthly radar as far as, I try to do monthly roundups for you guys out there who are into history and nonfiction. And I try to show you the new releases that are coming out every month to put them on your radar, as it were. But sometimes things are sent later, or they miss making it into that particular monthly video roundup. Excuse me. So I thought I would do kind of a catch-up video and get you guys up to speed on what other books have come in and books I'm excited to check out. So without any further ado, let's do it. Let's get going. All right. Let's start with this one. This is a book that you may have seen if you follow Bill Rutenberg's channel. I also received a review copy of this. Now, Bill has started to read the book already. I have not, but I plan on it because I want to compare notes with him. We were both I was contacted by the publicist and then got her in touch with Bill. So we both have a copy of this new book. This is from Pluto Press, and this is Lincoln's speechwriter, John Hay and the Friendship That Inspired American Eloquence by Jan Sigliano Hartman. I'm very, very excited to check this out. So without any further, I just said that. Let me say it again. Let me read you a description without further ado. Recent scholarship presented in Lincoln's speechwriter upends long-held assumptions about Abraham Lincoln's political voice by revealing the previously underestimated role of John Hay in shaping it. Beginning with Hayes's formative years at Brown University, the research traces the development of a distinctive literary voice marked by rhythm, rhyme, and narrative clarity that would later surface in some of the most iconic speeches in American history. As Lincoln's private secretary during the pivotal years leading up to and throughout the Civil War, Hayes's influence emerged as far more extensive than scholars have traditionally acknowledged. Newly examined evidence shows Hay contributing language, structure, and tonal refinement to Lincoln's major addresses, including the Springfield farewell speech from February 1861, the first inaugural address in March 1861, and even the Gettysburg Address, November 1863, among many others. This collaboration coincided with a striking evolution in Lincoln's oratory that helped launch the Republican campaign and sustain Lincoln's moral authority as the nation fractured. What makes these findings especially startling is not merely Hayes's involvement, but how seamlessly his literary voice fused with Lincoln's political genius. The research suggests that the Lincoln voice, revered by generations, was in fact the product of a sophisticated partnership, one that challenges the enduring image of Lincoln as a solitary author of his most celebrated words. By placing Hayes's development and contributions in chronological context, Lincoln's speechwriter reframes Lincoln's legacy and invites scholars and fans alike to reconsider how America's most famous speeches came into being and who truly helped give them their lasting power. So this one has the potential to kind of rock received wisdom around Lincoln and his speechwriting talents. I know that Bill's very circumspect about that, but you know what? Let's read the book, see what kind of evidence that Jan Sigliano Hartman provides. And I'm curious to see what the critical reception of this book will be. It's put out by Pluto Press, and I'm just wondering if this is going to be picked up for wide review, critical review. So let me read the book, and I'm going to talk to Bill about it. And then I'm going to be doing some Googling to see if other outlets, like major book review outlets, especially like things around the Lincoln Society, and I'd love to know what the Lincoln specialists are making of this new title, because it's really presenting a revolutionary new argument that, that John Hay had a lot to do with these beautiful speeches that we've always accepted as being from Abraham Lincoln's mind, his pen. It wouldn't surprise me if there was some collaboration, but I just think the man himself had a way with words even before he met John Hay. So, we'll see what it has to offer, but I'm really excited. So thank you to Post Hill Press for offering up this review copy. I'll be circling back to it. Maybe Bill and I maybe we could record a book chat about this and share our thoughts and opinions on what we found here. So this is out right now. If anyone else is interested in checking this out, if anyone else out there is as big a Lincoln fan as Bill Rutenberg is, I'm a huge Lincoln fan too. But Bill, he's very protective, and I get it. Oh yes, this is a book I requested because I really wanted to dig deep into this. This is written by two brothers, and one of the brothers wrote a very in-depth biography on Khrushchev. And so anyway, this looks right up my alley. This has been out. I finally got my hands on a copy. This is McNamara at War, A New History, by Philip Taubman and William Taubman. This is put out by W.W. Norton. All right, so let me just let me give you a description and tell you why I'm interested in this. Robert S. McNamara was widely considered, just checking my time, to be one of the most brilliant men of his generation. He was an invaluable ally of Presidents John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson as U.S. Secretary of Defense, and he had a deeply moving relationship with Jackie Kennedy. But to the country, McNamara was the leading advocate for American escalation in Vietnam. He strongly advised Johnson to deploy hundreds of thousands of American ground troops just weeks before concluding that the war was unwinnable. And for the next 2.5 years, McNamara failed to urge Johnson to cut his losses and withdraw. McNamara at War examines McNamara's life of intense personal contradictions following his childhood, his career as a young faculty member at Harvard Business School, and his World War II service, to his leadership of the Ford Motor Company and the World Bank. Philip and William Taubman had access to materials previously unavailable to McNamara biographers, including Jacqueline Kennedy's warm letters to McNamara during the Kennedy and Johnson administrations and beyond, family correspondence dating back to McNamara's service in World War II, and a secret diary maintained by McNamara's top Vietnam policy aide. What emerges is the comprehensive story of the infamous former leader of the Pentagon, riven by melancholy, guilt, zealous loyalty, and a profound inability to admit his flawed thinking about Vietnam before it was too late. McNamara at War is a portrait of a man at war with himself, with a grave influence on the history of the United States and the world, and on hundreds and hundreds of thousands of families. I feel like this book is perfectly placed right now to read in this time and space where we're at on the evening of March 25th, 2026, as we are once again sending troops who I pray to God will not be used over in Iran. Just, can we not learn the lessons from the past? Why can't we learn? And, I just want to say one more thing, too, for longtime viewers of this channel. And that military history is a very big interest of mine. I am a veteran. I support my fellow men and women in uniform. I've always been a big supporter of our military, but that does not mean I support war or I glory in. I don't. I read a lot about war because I want to understand it in the way that leads to conclude, well, not that I'm in control of anything, but I read about war not only to remember the sacrifices of people who, through no fault of their own, they're just serving their country, and they're sent in harm's way. I don't glory in war. I am, I don't want war. Uh, war is in the last ditch scenario. Like, yeah, you look back to World War II, and people call that the good war. In many ways, it wasn't a good war, but it needed to be fought. So I just wanted to put that out there, that, I am interested in reading about all things military and military history, but it's not something I just want to understand it. What causes nations to go to war, and through that knowledge, maybe, we can vote correctly, or vote our conscience, so that these things just don't happen. But then again, I'm a realist when it comes to the human nature, which just refuses to change. Because humans can't really change them. They can change outward behaviors, but we still have I think, a really hardwired set to our thinking. And it's just, and this is where my spirituality comes into play, my faith, I should say, that we just cannot help ourselves. Help has to come from above. Anyway, all right, so I'm very much looking forward to reading this, especially now. This came out, I think, late last year, in 2025. Yeah. So this is out now from W.W. Norton. Check out McNamara at War. This came out last month in February. I talked about it in the live stream that I just did with Bill. So if you want to like a recap, a fun discussion, go check out the live stream, the recording. Bill and I go over some of the recent books we've read, but I recently read and wrote a review of A Fate Worse Than Hell, American Prisoners of the Civil War by W. Fitzhugh Brundage, and it was fantastic. This is also from W.W. Norton. I highly recommend this book. Obviously, many of you know that American Civil War is one of my top topics. Had a fascination with it. I've read widely. Wrote my undergraduate thesis on the Wilderness Campaign. Yeah, Civil War is my fork, baby. And so this was extremely illuminating, and I will be rereading this. I think they're sending me the finished copy because I wrote a review. So I'm very excited to get that finished copy. But yeah, it's all about just the I don't think I need to go into it too much, because I know I've shown it on the channel before, but it is what it says it is. A harrowing new history of the Civil War's prisoner of war camps, North and South. Yeah, there's some good stuff in here, and there's a lot more politics in here than you would think there would be. But anyway, I loved it. What else came across? Yes, this book. I wanted to I didn't get this until after Black History Month, but there's a good opportunity for me to interview the author. So sometime in April. I still need to read the book. I have to start it yet, but I am heads down. The reason why I haven't made many videos lately is that I've got some huge review deadlines coming up for historical novels review, and I'm still reading a lot of the novels that I'll be writing reviews for, but I've got a lot of things to wrap up. Plus I'm editing a lot of other people's reviews for this issue, the May 2026 issue. So a lot of work on that issue going to bed. So I am really booked through the first week of April. Then I will read this book. Should not take me too long. I should probably get it done in 3 or 4 days if I'm not reading anything else. This is The War Within a War, The Black Struggle in Vietnam and at Home by Will Haygood. Now, I know in one of my videos, a lot of you recommended this book in the comments. So thank you to all the viewers who did that. That really that really helped me get in touch with the publicist who was sent me this copy, and I said I'd like to, consider a review with Mr. Haygood if he's willing to do that sometime in like late April. But yeah, I'm excited to read this. So let me read you a description. Drawing on the stories of soldiers and officers, doctors and nurses, journalists and activists, artists and politicians, Will Haygood illuminates a generation caught between two battles, one on the front lines in Vietnam and another for justice and dignity in America. Among those at the heart of the story are Dr. Albert Nelson, a Black doctor who went to Vietnam in the aftermath of the Watts racial riot in Los Angeles, but soon found himself in the midst of Black soldier protests. Fred Cherry, an Air Force pilot, the first Black military officer captured by the North Vietnamese who became a hero to 20 million Black Americans. Joe Anderson, the first Black cinematic star of the war after his platoon's exploits in Vietnam were the subject of the Academy Award-winning documentary, The Anderson Platoon. I'm going to have to look that up. Dorothy Harris, a nurse stationed at Cu Chi, 30 miles from Saigon, where one particular death would haunt her forever. George Forrest, a captain who ran a gauntlet through enemy territory during the 1965 Battle of Ia to get back to his men and became the stuff of legend. Henry Reed, a Marine officer feared by the North Vietnamese who stood up against racism in the Marine Corps. And and Philippa Schuyler, a biracial concert pianist who went to Vietnam to rescue orphans, many fathered by Black soldiers, and died fleeing Vietnam with children in tow. Through the prism of their lives, as well as the lives of such crucial figures of that era, Marvin Gaye and Berry Gordy, Lyndon Johnson, J.W. Fulbright, Martin Luther King Jr., and many others, Haygood brings these individuals out from the shadow of the war, revealing how Black Americans fought for their nation, the price they paid for that fight, and the profound injustices they had to endure while doing so, whose repercussions resonate today. So this sounds like a fascinating read. I'm going to be introduced to a lot of different folks in here. I'm very excited to do so, and hopefully maybe we can get my next author interview will be with Mr. Haygood. Yeah. Go. Some awesome pictures. And this is from, I believe, yes, the publisher is Knopf, Alfred A. Knopf publisher. But this is available right now. So that I have plans for this book. All right, this book came out from Hanover Square Press. It has kind of like a punk rock cover, but yet the subject is so it's just these type of book covers always amuse me in a way because they clash with the topic. See if you see what I'm talking about here. This is Rebel of the Regency by Anne Foster. So it's like punk rock, graffiti writing, and then the subtitle is The Scandalous Saga of Caroline of Brunswick, Britain's Queen Without a Crown. So this is going to be kind of fun. Let's see what happens here. All right. Caroline Amelia Elizabeth, Princess of Brunswick, grew up a wild child, but was sequestered from others to protect her family's reputation. An 18th century Rapunzel. After an unexpected marriage proposal from Britain's Prince of Wales, Caroline found herself entirely unprepared for life in the royal court. Always staying true to herself, she stepped into her role of queen-to-be without compromising her character, showing off her affinity for fashion, her many eccentric hobbies, and ultimately her infallible spirit. Caroline became the unlikely figurehead of the anti-monarchists, aided by the just-emerging tabloid press. Yet despite her status as a revolutionary heroine, Caroline's name faded away following her death. For the first time, Anne Foster brings us the riveting story of Britain's uncrowned queen through an empowering examination of womanhood and autonomy that feels just as relevant today. So the uncrowned queen. I don't know much about this one. This Caroline. but she married the Prince of Wales. Well, either way, this is going to educate me on a topic I don't have a lot of information on. So, yes, Rebel of the Regency by Anne Foster. Pretty fairly fast read. About 270 pages. Not too bad. All right, we're moving along here. Oh, so this is great. This is a press. I believe this is over in the UK, but they sent me a few review copies across the pond. And I was really happy to get them. This is a press called Pluto Press, you guys. Pluto Press. And I am really excited to show you this one because I have all of his books in New York Review of Books editions. But Pluto Press has this brand new book out on Victor Surge. So guys, you Victor Surge fans, I know Johnny Keene is. Check this out from Pluto Press. This is Victor Surge, Unruly Revolutionary by Mitchell Abador. Let me get that. So anywhere you see like this logo right here, that's the Pluto Press logo. I don't know if they're new or not, but I'm starting to get more email from them. And I saw this book and I want to read it. And they sent it to me. So I'm really happy to get this. Ideological schisms have always been a feature of the left, but for much of the early 20th century, they could be deadly. Few revolutionary figures managed to chart such a unique course through the turbulent currents of anarchism and Bolshevism as Victor Surge. Today, thanks to his classic memoirs and novels, Surge is esteemed by most segments of the left. But who was this man who led such a thrilling life on the front lines of history? An anarchist, a Bolshevik, a Trotskyist, or did he evolve into something else entirely? In this vivid account of the life, work, and political evolution of Victor Surge, Mitchell Abador rescues his subject with all his contradictions from the constraints of any single label. Examining the lacunae and errors in his memoirs, the hidden Surge is ultimately revealed for what he was, an unruly revolutionary of both great courage and contradictions. So yes, ready to read this. This is a good, almost 400-page book. It's longer with the index and stuff, but this is from Pluto Press. Another trade paperback they sent me. This looks really interesting as well. This is called Radical Antiquity. Free Love Zoroastrians, Farming Pirates, and Ancient Uprisings by Christopher B. Zeichmann. Radical Antiquity. All right, let's take a look-see. When you think of ancient Greece and Rome, what do you imagine? The Acropolis and the Colosseum? Perhaps the philosophy of Plato and Aristotle and the rule of the Caesars? This well-trodden history of great thinkers, military leaders, and early state formation in the classical world enthralls us still, but it tells only half the story. Radical Antiquity takes you on a journey in search of anarchy, statelessness, and social experimentation in the Greco-Roman world. Sweeping across the Mediterranean from the time of the first Olympic Games until the emergence of Islam, Christopher B. Zeichmann tells the stories of escaped slaves, pirates, and religious sects, all of whom sought a more egalitarian way of life. This history from below brings the experiences of common and marginal people out of obscurity and radically expands our understanding of social and political life in the classical world. Ooh, he also wrote The Roman Army in the New Testament. That sounds really good. I'm going to have to look that one up too. Yeah, I don't know much about this book, but I'm really intrigued. There are discussion questions in the back of the book in case you want to do like a book club or a buddy read with someone and have some questions that you could work around. Yeah. Radical Antiquity. And then finally, they sent me this one as well. This is A People's History of Portugal by Raquel Varela And Roberto della Santa, foreword by Michael Roberts, and afterword by Gordon Lafer. A People's History of Portugal. These are really lovely trade paperback books here. So A People's History of Portugal reconstructs the last 200 years of class struggle in Portugal. So obviously, Pluto Press is a leftist publisher, I believe. Raquel Varela and Roberto della Santa examine the material conditions of its people, examining the real causes of the revolutionary waves and counter-revolutionary backlash. Starting in the early 19th century, the theme of colonialism and its antithesis runs through the narrative, as working class life was closely entwined with Portuguese colonial exploitation. Despite relatively slow industrial development, Portuguese people spearheaded a surprisingly vigorous radical culture of dissent, eventually sparking a social and political revolution in 1974. More recently, Portugal's inclusion in the European Union has put its people in a neoliberal stranglehold that stifles democracy to this day. Interesting. Are the working people of Portugal able to carry the memory of the revolutionary past into its future? This is a history of and for the people. I enjoy reading about other countries and learning just more about their histories. And this is a nice slim volume I think I could easily digest. And taking into mind that it definitely has more of a bent towards like revolutionary leftist stuff, but still very it's all grist for the mill, baby. Grist for the mind mill. So thank you to Pluto Press for these 3. And you know what I'm most excited about is Victor Surge. Heck yeah. So check out Pluto Press, see if there's anything there to your liking. And guess what, guys? I didn't do a 50-minute video this time, but that's okay. I got more books to show you. I was going to have way more in this stack, but I think I'm going to do a dedicated University Press video of new arrivals. I've gotten a bunch of new books from university presses that are either new or fairly recent. So I want to show you those. So I'm going to be doing another university press kind of catch-all video, not just one press, but several different ones. So there you have. Oh, wait a second. Should I show these two? Oh no. Well, these were also, I included these as well in my live stream with Bill. So if you want to learn about what I've read recently, watch that video. I'll try to link it in the description box below, but these were 2 books that I've also read recently that are out now. This, The Escapes of David George, fantastic. An Odyssey of Slavery, Freedom, and the American Revolution by Gregory E. O'Malley. This is quite the peripatetic adventure. This man walked a lot and ran, I'm sure, but he did a lot of walking and a lot of escaping. And he lived to tell the tale, and he thrived. And then this one, The Last Titans, How Churchill and de Gaulle Saved Their Nations and Transformed the World by Richard Bynum, from Simon & Schuster. And this one is from St. Martin's Press. But these were both really interesting reads, kind of tickled my noggin to want to do some more research and learn more, especially on this one about de Gaulle. And this one about not only David George's life, but the claim that, he might have been he probably was the first Black Baptist preacher in America. So he was a first. Anyway, so these are some of the books that have come in recently, but I've got way more. So stay tuned, guys. Anyway, thanks for joining me here at the History Shelf. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of these. And I'll be hopefully making another video here soon. I need to make that University Press new arrivals video this week sometime. I've got a couple of things to wrap up. But it's been so long since my last video, even with the live stream, I still need to make a kind of like a history roundup video. I haven't made one in a while, and these ones were kind of didn't fit into the the new monthly roundups that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, the books that come in galley format, I'm trying to look at the date of when they're publishing, and so I have stacks. Like, okay, here's my March stack. And then I'm going to do a video and show you guys what's coming out in March. I hopefully next week I'll be doing my April stack. I swear to you, is like there's so many new books coming out in April. I've got May already forming, and downstairs I've got June and July. So they're rolling in. So you've got to subscribe to this channel if you want to know about new history books coming out, because this is where it happens, folks. There's not a lot of other like booktube channels that focus only on history. But let me just say, I don't focus only on history, but that's the majority of my stuff is history. I also do have some fiction videos, and I'll go through those as well for you guys. But yeah, these monthly roundups, they are kind of taking on a life of their own. And like I said, just kind of putting the stacks together to show you guys what's coming. And I love being that person, being that messenger to say, hey, you guys, guess what's out right now, or guess what's coming out this month. Add it to your list. So let me know if that's a value to you. I think it is. The way you guys comment in the in the description, in the comment box, you just are always like, we love knowing when these books are coming. You kind of put this, I didn't hear about this book. I'm trying to like get the word out, helping to spread word about new history, new books, new authors, new historians, new ideas, and whatnot. So anyway, let me know what you think of that. Look forward to hearing from you guys. So check back soon. I'll have another video later this week. But until then, guys, thanks for joining me here at the History Shelf. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.